Okay. Buongiorno. How are we doing? Will that do? Yeah, that'll do. Huh? Ay, ay. Every time, eh? It's a little bit crooked. How's that? Boy. We're just in a wind. It's still crooked. I'm gonna leave it. Jeez. Okay. How's it going? Okay, Patreon for monthly donations. PayPal or TransferWise for individual donations. You just saw that on the screen. I put it on the back screen too. Okay, enough of that. Oh, if you wish to donate to help me with these videos and mostly kendo things, please feel free to do so. Okay, that's enough of that. It would be my privilege, indeed. Oh, the water flow is really low today. That's interesting, because we've been getting a lot of rain, but the rain has been sporadic. Well, not sporadic, it's been light, I'd say. It's been steady, but light. Okay. So I've blocked the pipe here in order to facilitate flow here. It might be, I was wondering coming up, because it usually, like that river that's down by the big concrete cistern, it's wet, but it's not like flowing. And I wonder if it might be because the rain's been steady, there hasn't been enough to overwhelm things. You know? Like when you get big torrents and it just comes washing down. Maybe it's like COVID. Like everything's like COVID. Like some places the hospitals get overwhelmed and they just can't deal with it. Then other places there's cases, but it's steady and small, and the hospitals can deal with it. Both situations appear to exist. The latter is the preferable one, I would think. Oh! Darn, I have a list. Oh. Thank you so much for everyone that helped me out this past week. It's been amazing, actually, and very helpful. And you know, right now I'm putting my what I collect. I'm putting money aside for. Been saving up for a new set of kendo equipment, right? And the donations that I got this week are huge help. Just thank you so much. And Su Chang, Sylvia, Jen, Brendan, Tom, Aaron, I think there's one more. Shoot, I'm sorry, I can't remember. Darn. Anyway, if I forgot it, then I'll add it. I feel like I forgot something. I hate. That's one thing I get nervous about saying names, is that, oh, I know I'm going to forget something. Oh, man. We're right in a... I'm just in a real rain window. A no rain window here. I have to go down the mountain today because today's market day. And, it's always a little nerve-wracking heading down the mountain on my motorbike, because when the roads are wet. But one advantage with it raining so much is that the roads are also clean, you know? I think the most risky time, especially on these steep hills here, like it's really crazy, you know? Anyway, is on fresh rain, like the oils and stuff from the roads come up. So in some ways, when it's raining a lot, the roads stay quite clear, and that's helpful. The only thing is that does happen with the rain is that stuff will fall, like branches and leaves and debris and stuff will fall, right, from the rain, and that you have to be really careful with. you know. So like I go down the steep hills really slowly because I know, right? There's curves everywhere. Like I know around one curve there could be like a big washout of leaves and stuff. Washout, big bunch of leaves, wet leaves. And if you turning or put your brakes on that, poof, down you go. Anyway, but I see people just bombing all over the place, right? And I'm going, nope. Okay, better you than me. Oh well. But you know, those are all mostly younger people. Being an older human being, I might have a more reasonable sense of my own mortality than someone in their like 20 or something. Although I hear people ride motorbikes really young, eh? Like 12. I mean, local. You can't get away with that going into the city, I don't think. Because there are laws here. People are like, oh, in Thailand, just do whatever you want, you know. Don't wear a helmet. It's like, don't have a license. Like, yeah, that's a bad idea. They're tightening up on the. Generally speaking, they're tightening up on the traffic stuff. Although lately, I think with the COVID and stuff, I've seen a lot less police stops. Yeah. So what else is in the news? Oh, well, I guess I talked about this last time. Some serious stuff going on with the Arctic sea ice, you know. But this is the time of year for that. It's the time of year when we're approaching the sea ice minimum. Watched a great interview with Jennifer Hines, Sandy Scholes, and Peter Wadhams. Really great. And Peter Wadhams is like one of the foremost experts on Arctic sea ice, and he's spent the better part of his whole career. He's like 85 now or something, 80s maybe, studying Arctic sea ice. He's been on 40 missions or something, and spent lots of time with British submarines onto the ice. And amazing work. But recently he was trashed by a couple of dumbass quasi-scientist types, and so he was defending himself, and he's such a gentle soul, you know, and a true scientist, right? He was saying, no, you know, I don't mind criticism of my work, and you know, as a scientist, you expect that, and hopefully appreciate it, right? But this wasn't that. This was just some trash talk, basically. Anyway, but it must have been devastating for that to happen, right? Like enraging. But he wasn't enraged. He was just, I think he was just like, boy, he's just shaking his head. But anyway, so that's a wonderful. Maybe I'll add that in the comments if I can remember. That's a great one. Yeah. I don't know if you can hear it. You can hear drops, and I can see drops. It's a little bit hard to tell whether it's rain or just coming off the leaves, right? Or a combination of the two. Launcher. Best water in the world. Okay, so look what I brought with me today. I brought my sea tin whistle. There's one of the sweet tone Clark whistles, which has a tapered bore, which I like them. They're very sweet sounding, which is probably why they're called sweet tone. That was the Lament for Staker Wallace, and then a slip jig called the Butterfly. How about this one? I love the slow airs. You can hear the birds started singing when I started playing. I think so, anyway. Did you hear that? Yeah, it was someone that comments a lot on my YouTube water walks. Simon. He said, "Oh, you should make some tin whistles. You should make some whistles from the wood around here." I'm gonna come a bit closer. Oh, good exercise. Yeah, he said, should make some, oops, where are we? Tilt, 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 tilt. Should make some, oh, it's so misty looking, eh? I guess that's because it's quite misty. Very thick air. Yeah. Should make some whistles out of the wood around here. Oh, maybe I will. See, for things like whistles and flutes, I need some special tools and reamers and stuff, but, and a lathe, you know. That's possible. Mostly I'm wanting to make guitars these days. I have 3 for sure available, and maybe 4. One's on trial. Yeah, I got 3 if anyone wants them. Very beautiful instruments, I do say so myself. And reasonable priced for what they are. Yeah, so Simon, I guess those tunes are for Simon. So thanks, Simon, for suggesting it. I said, oh, I'll bring my tin whistle up. And, yeah, it sounded like one of the birds was chirping along. I don't know, actually. I feel like when I got here, there weren't that many birds, mostly insects. And now I hear more birds, but hard to say whether that's just perception, right? Maybe I wasn't aware. Oh, there's an ant here. Get out of there. Wasn't aware of the birds, you know, till I sat down and settled, you know. Oh, the other thing that happens, we used to call it, I'm sure no one calls it, well, maybe some do, but in Canada we used to call it Thompson sitting. Seton sitting. There's Ernest Thompson Seton was geez, I don't know that, God, I used to know. Oh, sorry, I have to look that up. I'll put a link. Kind of a naturalist, I think. Oh, sorry, now I feel very ignorant. Anyway, but the idea of it is that, you know, when you're walking through some land, some wilderness or bush or whatever, you know, a lot of times you won't hear things, right? Because birds and things are going, oh, what's this coming through? Let's shut up and have a look. And then you sit down, you know, and settle down and for 10 minutes or whatever, or however long it takes, and all of a sudden the sounds will come back. You know, like the animals and birds and insects and whatnot around you go, okay, this seems okay, it's not a threat, you know. So they'll come back, and which I think is probably what's happened here, you know. Come in, and also I'm not quite as focused, maybe, climbing up. You know, I'm focused on not slipping and sliding and all that, and then I settle down and get some water, play a tune. Yeah, but it's pretty quiet though. I think, you know, in the rain and stuff, I think it can be pretty quiet. But the one thing, at the house where I live at, all the cicadas are just going bananas. Doesn't matter whether it's raining or not. There's some trees right outside where I spend most of my time on, like, out on this large deck area. Like, I spend actually most of my time, a lot of my time there eating, and if I'm doing some computer work or hand work, instrument making, I'll just sit and do that. But there's some trees, and sometimes the cicadas like to land right on the tree outside where I'm sitting. That's so loud. And I took like on my old phone here that I'm using for this video, I took out this decibel meter, and it was like in the red zone, right? And like in the hearing damage zone. And it was, you know, 12 feet away from me. So quite often I'll go, shut up! And it'll take a broom and sweep up the tree and shoo, shoo. Anyway, maybe I'll get walking and see if some bright ideas come up. But, yeah. I don't know. Anyway, something about the rain, you know, and this time of year feels very quiet, settled, you know. A little bit more, like I don't go up hiking up high on the mountain very often at this time of year. As I've said before, and it always feels a little bit like the winter in Canada. Oh, okay, I'm back. I think I was talking about, you know, feeling settled because of the time of year. And my phone got full. Here's one thing I should do. Once I get my sort of the current needs for kendo stuff, like some new protective equipment, saving up for hopefully the national championships in Canada that are to come, etc., etc., grading, which I talked about last week. Maybe at some point I should look into a new camera with more phone is really what it is, although I never use the phone, with more space. I don't know. I hate the idea of that, eh? I don't want to whatever, it's fine. The conundrums of modern living, eh? Oh, I need a bigger phone. I don't actually. I just need to delete everything that I do, so that I have a chunk, and that's usually enough actually. Like these videos sometimes go like 45 minutes, believe it or not. It's ridiculous. Anyway, and if I clean it out, then I'm good. I just had forgotten. Anyway, you didn't need to know any of that. I gotta start walking. Thanks for checking in. What else? Patreon info at the end, links, whatever. Okay, see you in a minute. Remember, oh, hang on a sec. Back. I don't know if I should say this. Anyway, I always, after I get the water, I always do a kind of give thanks thing, eh? Okay, anyway. I don't go usually there in these videos. The deep spiritual stuff. Forest spirits, mountain spirits. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. I forgot. I didn't forget because I just remembered. But BH is a shamisen player, and he was my first Patreon, my only Patreon so far. Person, donator. Oh, that's really nice, eh? Anyway, BH is a shamisen player and connected with that community that circles around Bachido. Bachido.com. It's a great source run mostly by Kyle Abbott, I believe. Chamois for shamisens and shamisen supplies, strings, books, whatever you need, as well as a fabulous community. Anyway, at one point I'd made fukaru, which are like shamisen bags, basically. And I was using these Thai fabrics. I think hand woven, maybe? I think so. Anyway, he's nice, and I made a nice one for him, and he bought one for me, and that was nice. Anyway, so thanks a lot, BH, and everyone else. Tom Lopez. Yeah. Anyway, it's kind of neat, actually. I'm always a little bit unsure about them. I'm just thinking about the money thing, right? I think I mean, a lot of the projects I do, I rely on like crowdfunding, you know, Indiegogo and stuff, and probably will continue. I thought, oh, maybe like I do these videos and people love them, and oh man, Jen, I don't want to get into, I don't want to do personal things anyway, but friend, she just said some wonderful words about how, very moving, about how these walks that I do, meandering bits of things, really helped her out. I mean, that's what it's about, eh? That was so, oh, I just can't, I'm a little bit overwhelmed. Anyway. I think of them as helping me out a lot. You know what I mean? And they do help me out a lot. I don't know. I pondered this because I live alone, and I like to live alone, and I want to live alone. I have no desire to live with anyone really, but I have neighbors and I have friends here. But mostly it's a solitary life for me, you know. And of course, in Kendo, I have close friends too, and both here and back in Canada. And that's always been a great kind of source of, a place to connect with people and stuff for me. Kendo's been huge for that, right? But yeah. Anyway, as things like that do, But yeah. So anyway, but of course, I do these walks for whatever myriad reasons for my own sake, I suppose. But also with the thought that, oh, look at that. And it's just, I can see that, oh, it might be nice for people to see. Oh, sorry, I'm just walking down some dead vines. Whoops, that one's not going to break. Yeah, that's good enough, I guess. And different place, but mostly just this lush green thing, eh? It's so nice to look at, I guess. And the Suchang was, oh, Suchang, did I say Suchang? He's like, anyway, I think I did. If I didn't, thanks. Suchang too. But it was early on when I was doing these, and I think Suchang, oh, I just said, I'm totally paraphrasing, but something like, oh, I just love to put these on and kind of have a moment of the beautiful forest. And he lives down in the city, down south, and whatever. And anyway, good friend, close friend. Anyway, that's enough of that. Yeah, so I thought, okay, well, maybe it's okay to do a Patreon thing or donation thing connected with these videos, right? Maybe that's okay, and then people can contribute if they want to, and no need if you don't want to or don't have the means, of course. Yeah. Very slippery today, eh? And, I guess maybe it's slippery all the time. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna switch it. You can see, don't have to look at me so much. Let's do a treetop walk. You've seen the trail, if you watched it, you've seen the trail like 10 freaking million times. It's like the video of the same walk I do every time. It's like the one constant. Yeah. Well, oh, look at that. Anyway. Well, it's a one constant for me, eh? It's a blessed ritual, as my friend David would say. Well, that's the life of the freelancer, you never know when things are going to be dry or busy, and gotta build up some, in that kind of life, like, don't need to get up at any certain time, mostly, but, you kind of, in that kind of life, you kind of need to build your own structures, right? Like create, that's my experience, of course, create some sort of structure and constraint to your time and days and whatnot, and probably just part of being a human, what we need, right? But I suppose like anything, a balance is banana trees. I think wild banana trees. I'm not sure though. They might be feral. The video of the canopy. Hey, like the canopy is where it all happens, right? How many birds do you see? Yeah, not a lot. They're all up there. Hear them though. Hear them. Oh, but I don't hear them right now. Alright. There's the water. Okay, so like this was like a gushing river last week. And it was gushing out of there too. And now it's not gushing at all. Although it is making interesting sounds. Yadavandi, Landi, Andi, Dundan. Oh, Landi, Landi, Dandi, Dundan. Dun-da-dum-bum, yandu, lan-ta-dun-dee-day, yandi-ba-dum, yandu-dum-du, yan-dum-da-dum-do, ba-dum-dee, yandi-dum-dee-day, bo-ba-dum, ba-dum-dee-ba-dum-dum. Do yum da dum do dum 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 do do. Oh boy, rock just rolled down. Yadum dum, ba dum, yadum dum, dum dee day dum. Dun dun bum, dun do, yan dun 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 dun. That I can't even remember the name of that tune. I've been playing that tune on the tin whistle and Irish flute for years, but it certainly is a song with some beautiful Gaelic words added to Irish words to it. We'll say it's interesting, eh? Like the Scots don't like it when you say Gaelic. Because Gaelic. Fair enough. That's what you say in Scottish Gaelic. Say Gaelic. But you don't say Gaelic in Irish Gaelic either. Usually in Ireland, if you say, oh, do you speak Irish? It means do you speak the Irish language, right? And in the Irish language, it's not Gaelic and it's not Gaelic. It's Gaelica. But when I did the Irish immersion I did so many years ago. God, I'd love to go back, eh? I heard some people, it almost sounded like Gaelic, Gaelica, somewhere in between Gaelic, Gaelica. That's probably where Gaelic comes from. Anyway, you know, like when you translate into another language, the words just change. So Gaelic's fine for me. It's easy to say because everyone recognizes it, right? But technically, in most standard Irish, it'd be Gaelica. Gaelic in Scotland. Anyway, whatever. Yeah. But there must be some words to that song, eh? I'll try and find it. I think it might be on a Chieftains album, like one of the earlier ones. Like within the first 5, maybe? Maybe I can find it. Maybe I can learn the words and do it here. For my Patreons! BH, it's all for you! Everyone else too. Don't get me wrong. Anyway, yeah. Okay, so speaking of that, Patreon I'm going to put a link. I have a tag now. I'm going to put the end of these videos. Patreon, PayPal, you can do a donation if you want. And the PayPal donations are great if you want to use a credit card. And also TransferWise, I put a link up. TransferWise is fantastic if you just want to transfer money internationally, right? Because the fees are great. I'm not advertising. I use it because I get a little bit of money from my pension in Canada. So that's what I use to transfer my money over to here. And the fees are low and the interest rate, more importantly, is really good. Like it's cheaper. Okay. It's cheaper, like I can get free transfers, no fee from my Canadian Simply Bank. It's called Simply. Free, but the actual rates are so high, it's cheaper to go with TransferWise, which has a small fee, but better rates. Anyway, it's high finance at all times, apparently. Anyway, yeah, so TransferWise is great if you want to do a transfer rather than... Anyway, but you got these options if you so wish to do that. Please feel free to do so. Anyway, I have to find some balance about, you know, mentioning the Patreon / whatever thing and just doing my usual thing, right? I don't want to get too much. Anyway, I'll find the balance, don't worry. Anyway, I hope everyone's doing great. gonna get home before the rain starts up again, which is gonna be any minute. And I think, oh, you know what? I have something to show you. Hang on. Ah, สวัสดีค่ะ Wow. สวยเนอะ Wow. อันนี้คิดว่าไม้อะไรอันนี้ค่ะไม้อะไรอันนี้ไม้รู้ไหมคะอะไรพะโล้พะโล้ไม้พะโล้มันล้มมันล้มokay okay yeah I want to show you this I forget that fellow's name but he whenever I've had electrical problems he's fixed it. Oh, he's amazing, like amazing. Anyway, that's how you do it here, eh? Like he's not a certified electrician. You just get it done, right? But that's who I would call. Anyway, see this wood down here? There's a fellow over there. See that just behind the car? He's building a. Yeah. He's building. If I'm talking, he's building a structure, and he said, "Oh, for a han," which I don't think it means restaurant. I'm pretty sure it means like a place for, because there's a guest house, homestay right here. It's for like guests to eat the breakfast and stuff. It's a little shelter, you know. But look at this wood. Look at this wood, eh? Pretty sure that pink stuff's my bradu. Oh, stunning. Look at that. Oh. And this is another one. He mentioned what this is. I can't quite remember. But yeah, so what they've done is they've completely opened this top floor for something. Not sure what they're going to do with it, but yeah, so he's building this. Oh, gang man! Yeah. Nice. So
ใส่ด้านบน
ใช่ and คนกินอาหารที่นี่ใช่ไหม
ครับผม
like you ที่นั้นand มาที่นี่จะกินอาหาร
ครับ
อ๋อ
ที่ทำอาหารด้วย
ใช่ nice
ว้าว
โอเคขอบคุณครับ
ครับโอ้ได้เยอะ
ใช่